So that setting. Aha. Aha. Okay. I do believe we are live. Our audio issues have not been fixed on our audio issues have not been fixed on YouTube. So we tried about 3 or 4 different things and none of them worked. So that seems like it's going to be more of a long-term issue. So we'll try to fix it every stream. We'll in between streams. We'll see if we'll see if we can do better each time. I put a little bit of work into it. I was busy with some videos, so I wasn't able to put as much work into it because I feel like I would have figured it out if I had like 4 hours to put into it. But I had in like an hour after I finished the last stream, and then like an hour before this stream, and so that's about as much time as I had. Double that, and I might have figured it out. So let's get to these questions. Few people are saying the audio is fixed, so maybe we did fix it. Is the audio on YouTube fixed? Or is that Twitch? Because I think the audio is still good on it's still good on Twitch. I just think it had issues on YouTube. So while you're checking that, I will be going to look at these questions. There was some good questions. At least I know there was at least one that I saw that I was like, oh, it is fixed on YouTube. Yay! So YouTube though there is a delay. So even if the audio is synced up with like my mouth at the same time, and like you can hear and see my movements at the same time, it's still going to be like 7 seconds behind Twitch. So yeah, we'll see. we'll see if that works. But yeah, make sure you drop questions in the chat, whether you're on Twitch or YouTube. I'll answer those questions after I go through the questions that people have already posted. And if there's no questions, then I'll either just talk about something that's going on right now, or I'll just end the stream after an hour. So put your questions. Just make sure you put question in front of it so that I know it's a question. Just the word question, and then ask your question. Let's see. Questions. How y'all doing? This is like a good day, man. My stream's gonna work right, and I don't have to record like a whole 30-minute one without knowing that it's not working right. I'm doing all right. That's really cool. I'm doing all right. So like, one of the things about this channel, I always wonder, because like I don't have any sponsorships right now. So like I am unsullied by sponsorship, so to speak. So I can talk about whatever I want. But then I also think like I may leave CitizenCon with sponsorships. Maybe not. I don't know. So I'm thinking like, do I want to start talking about leaks? I don't particularly care about leaks, because I kind of like to be surprised. I like for CIG to show me the information the way it's supposed to be. If I hear something, right? Like I'm not gonna avoid leaks, right? But I'm not gonna actively seek them out either. If I see something and somebody sends me something, I'll check it out, but I won't like go very heavy into detail on leaks, because to me, I like for CIG to have the opportunity to tell me it the way that they want to tell me it, if that makes any sense. And let me give you an example, right? So like, let's say I've been working on this ship for 2 years, right? And it's like this new ship, nobody knows about it, right? And then it leaks, right? And so, before I even get the opportunity to say what the ship is about or what it's doing, like everybody knows every little detail about it. So then by the time I go up on stage and I reveal this ship, there's like barely any applause or anything, and like because everybody kind of already knows it because they already looked it up on Reddit and everything. And like I know for me, if I'm the person that worked on that ship, that would suck. Because like I put all this effort into this ship, and because of leaks, now it's like this like reduced experience. But not just for the developers, but also for like my own experience. I like surprises. I don't want to know everything. It's the same reason why people watch Magic, right? Like I don't want to know how the trick works, because if I do, then that destroys the illusion. But anyway, enough about that. Let's get to these questions. I always have a hard time finding my own freaking community page. Like, why is that? All right. Let's see. So, let's see. If you're a member, you got a kind of sneak peek on my my new camera rig. So, yeah. It's coming along. That's only like 50% of the gear. And if you saw in there something called a Ninja, that was made for me. Yeah, you know. Anything Ninja related, you know, I got to be there. Let's see. Monday questions. All right, the first one we got. Oh, we got a bunch of questions from Paragon Fang Zen. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to answer one, and then I'm going to go through the rest, and then I'll come back for the rest of your questions, because I want to make sure everybody's questions get answered. So I'll do your first one, and then I'll go through and answer one from each person, and then I'll come back and do the rest of yours. Again, if you have questions, make sure you put question in front, and then make sure you ask your question afterward, because otherwise I might miss it. So even if it's just a small question, like you know, what day are you leaving for CitizenCon or something like that, just make sure you put question in the front so I don't miss it. All right, so first question. If you had to pick one and only one ship to have pledged, what ship would it be and why? If I could only pick one ship, because that would mean I'm kind of stuck in whatever gameplay it has, it would probably be the F8C. And that's the reason. And the reason for that is because if I'm gonna be stuck in the game and I can only do one thing, then I'm just gonna do combat. I'm just gonna become like the best pilot ever, like that. I'm just gonna keep doing that until the game comes out, because I think that's the thing that takes the longest to learn. And also, I'll earn other ships fairly quickly in the F8C just by doing combat missions, because that thing can go and do all levels of combat missions. So I'm not too worried about it. And plus, it's cool, and it just has that wow factor. Does that make it my favorite ship? No. That's just to answer your question, because that's more of a, you know, what kind of ship do I think is most useful to get my other ships? The Vulture is great too, but I would much rather work my way up with combat than work my way up with salvaging, because I think the more you learn about combat, the better. All right, so what sort of app would you like for your Android that would let you do something in universe without having to fire it up? So I actually answered this question in the link. So one of the things about this is I really like this question, because I didn't think about it until Palin 10 asked me this question. But once I thought about it, my mind just went. So I like this question so much. That's why I answered it twice. So I said an app to manage cargo in my hangar, and to manage my gear on each of my ships, and that would let me mess around with my hangar decor. So the one for cargo is so I can put stuff in different cargo containers without having to log into the game, because I feel like that would be tedious, and I get what they're doing. They want it to be realistic, but I would love to just be able to be like, oh, this is in 4 2 SCU boxes, whereas it could just be in 1 8 SCU box. Let me figure this out on my phone and move it around. So I am still moving it myself, right? But I mean the stuff that's like already, you know, you put it inside and it already went down the freight elevator. I'm not talking about moving things from the cargo elevator to your ships. I'm just saying reboxing things while they're inside of your freight elevator, and moving things around inside your elevator. Maybe creating groups like this is all of my laranite, and then this is all of my diamond or whatever. You know, just organizing things and being able to organize it from my phone, I think would be pretty cool. And then the one about organizing gear on my ships, I would love to be able to like, I get that that's like maybe it's a little immersion breaking because you have to, technically you're not physically grabbing it and then putting it into the holster, but like, I really feel like I want to be able to pack out, like have access to each suit locker, each gear locker, and each weapon locker, and be able to put like this specific weapon here, this specific weapon here in each one of my ships, and be able to like change that around in between ships on the app. I don't think that would break too much. It would allow me to do a lot of prep work before I actually log into the game. And I think a lot of this game is going to be prep work, so why not allow us as much access to that prep work as possible? And then hangar decor. I would love an app where you could not do everything, but maybe just like move your furniture and, you know, maybe not put things on tables or anything, but like maybe move your furniture and put things on walls. You know, just very basic functionality to where like I don't have to log in to do every single part of it. And I think that would be cool too, and maybe let you purchase things that will end up in your hangar, right? So like I would like access to the game store so that like if I want more cargo containers or different cargo containers, then, you know, I can go on and I can, you know, purchase those on the app, and then by the time I log into the game, they'll just be there. So yeah, very good question. Let's see. I think that's it for the members. Oh, you got a follow-up question here? I'll come back to that. But let's go and see what the subscribers' questions were. Don't have a whole lot of them. All right, so with the rebalancing going on, the Evo builds with the ship speeds and the pending ship component resizing, not sure if that's reflected in the Evo build. Do you think that ship weapons may also be rebalanced? For example, giving the MSR size 4 pilot control weapons instead of size 3, considering that the C1 has 4 size 3 pilot control weapons. I think ship weapons are going to change, but I don't know about drastically. They might come with better weapons equipped, or like, you know, more expensive weapons equipped rather than getting a complete resizing. And I think we're going to start seeing more quad turrets, where it's like most of the time we got the dual turret. Maybe they'll even introduce a tri-turret where there's 3 guns. That would be pretty cool too. But yeah, I can see us getting more advanced turrets, and maybe them changing the actual weapon that comes stock before they just keep upsizing and downsizing weapons. Now, it's very possible that you get that anyway, right? But I think it just makes more sense to slowly like give better weapons stock, like better stock weapons, than it does to just keep upsizing and downsizing everything, because I think that's going to just bother people. But the turret thing, I do think with turrets specifically, I do think they're going to start doing more quad turrets, just to like instead of just upsizing the whole gun, it's like instead of 2 guns on that turret, it has 4 guns on that turret. And when it comes to ship speeds, I have no faith in the current ship speed meta right now. It's making it actually pretty difficult to do these ship reviews, because as I do each ship review, I'm like, okay, wait, was this one of the ones that changed? Is this one of the ones that's going to change? Do I do it based on what it currently is or what it's going to be? You know, so I wouldn't even begin to speculate on speeds, because they're still getting master modes ready. So 4.0, I feel like, is where you can start to have a better sense of where they're going to be. Dot 2 coming out, is going to be technically on the 4.0, like, I don't know what it's called, code base or something like that. So I think that's where you could technically start, but I'm not really going to get too deep into learning what's going on with those until 4.0, really. All right. My question, who is this? Oh, I'm sorry. I haven't been saying people's names. That last question was from SOG Bulldog. Thanks for the question. Then we had, Damon Omnibus. Damon Omnibus in Tenebris. I think I said it right. Look at that. My question is regarding scanners. The Terrapin, known for having great scanning abilities, is listed as having none on both the Wiki and RSI site. Are these sites simply not kept up as much as they should be? The SE Wiki site is not to be trusted. It can be edited by pretty much anyone. However, it most of the time is right. It's just you always have to check it twice. It's like any wiki site that can be edited by anyone. It's not a great source for information. It's more of a like, oh, well, if I don't happen to know something, I might check it real quick just to get a small piece of information. But I don't think it's to be trusted. The RSI website is not to be trusted either, but not for the same reason. The RSI website is just old. Most of the time they don't update that information, but with the new website updates, they might start doing that. I haven't seen it yet. In fact, I've actually seen two or three pages that have been broken when I've been trying to do my reviews. But it's more likely that the RSI website will be correct than the wiki site. However, when things change, like when there's a quick change, like we just had the massive ship rebalance, the wiki site is probably going to be more updated. So it's kind of a give and take when it comes to that. I don't think the sites are not necessarily not kept up. It's more so just who has the time, right? Like to keep every single thing updated. So that's why you depend on wiki sites, because there's so much information that you need other people to add stuff. I do wish there was more information on the wiki sites. Like I wish you could do like a full wiki page like you do on Wikipedia. So to the folks who own the Star Citizen wiki site, there you go. You know, let us do the full wiki thing. Like let's go all the way down with all the information that we know on every single ship. You know, because there's so much information that you could add to those sites. So thanks for that question. And then we got same name Orlando Noble 6784, who I believe is a member. What are your thoughts? Oh, Orlando Noble 6784, if you are watching, you can ask questions. There's a special member thing for you to ask your questions, but you don't have to, of course. You got multiple questions too, so I will have to come back to some of these because after this first one, I'm going to go to the chat for a little while, then I'll go back to the members, and then I'll go back to this one, and I'll keep going back so everybody gets something. What are your thoughts on the ship backlog? It's love and hate, right? So right now, I'm not currently actively playing Star Citizen consistently because I'm waiting for 4.0. I was waiting for 3.23, but I was waiting for the original 3.23, not the 3.23 that got split into two and that became 3.24. I was waiting for 3.23 and 3.24 to come together. But then when they got split up, it kind of ruined my whole vibe for it. So now I'm waiting for 4.0. But mainly I'm waiting because of I have all these controllers and things, and I'm tired of resetting my profiles. It takes hours. I want something consistent. I want to be able to put my inputs in and be set. So until that comes, I'm not going to be playing as consistently. And because of that, I don't mind the ship backlog as much because I'm not currently playing as much. Once 4.0 comes out, if that's more stable as far as my controls, that's when I'll start really worrying about it. But I want them to just make it right, do it right. I want them to get the ships right rather than just rushing them out. I do think that they need to slow down on new ships and start focusing on finishing the backlog a little bit more. I will say that. And I don't mean slow down heavily, but I feel like one new ship every quarter is plenty. Maybe at CitizenCon, you reveal 3 ships, you know, and if you have like, you know, and if you have that many, then maybe you can get the rest out at CitizenCon, but one of those should be included as the quarterly, right? So that would be 6 ships total every year, right? if I'm not mistaken, they've been doing like 7, 8 plus variants. You know, I'm including variants in this, right? So if there's variants, then that counts, right? So if you're doing a 300i, then the 315p counts as one, the 325a counts as one, and all of that, right? And the reason I say that is because there's so many ships on backlog that it makes it feel like I don't want to, like, there. Well, I wouldn't say me personally, because I have a different, you know, ideology. But I think I've met a lot of people who don't want to buy anything new because they're like, it'll be made in 10 years, right? And that's not realistic. Most of these ships will be done in the next 4 or 5 years. However, you could see why people are worried in that way, because it's been 10 years since their ship, and that's ridiculous. Nobody should be waiting 10 years for their ship. I don't care if you just give us the bare bones version of it that doesn't have anything in it except the ability to fly it. Like, let people fly their ships. You know, at the very least, you got to provide better updates on these ships. Like, at the very least, if I bought a ship in 2015 and it's not released, or 2016 and it's not released, I should know everything there is to know about that ship. Now, I've heard more about certain ships that were released in 2020 than, or ships that were concepted in 2020, than I did ships that were concepted in 2016 or 2017, and that doesn't make sense. And then with the reworks and everything, making these ships, bringing these ships up to the gold standard, I think, is also the other thing that I'm worried about with the backlog. Like, I wish they would focus more on making the ships that are in the game where they need to be, so that we can properly assess how to compare those to other ships that are in the game that are coming. Like, right? So if a new ship comes out, like for instance, the Zeus CL, right? As a good example. I don't want a Zeus CL because it can't fit an Ursa medevac. But the other ship, the Freelancer, the Freelancer Max that can fit an Ursa, I kind of don't want because it's old. But if they were both new, I would be better able to make that choice. So, like, I would go with the CL just because it's new and it can, you know, I feel like it's going to end up being the better overall ship, especially because the Freelancer has that weird thing where it's blocked and you can't get access to the other 4 SCU. They could just remove that. I don't know why. They should just remove that and make it just one hallway. But yeah, that's the thing. That's what happens with that stuff. All right, let's go to the chat and ask some questions, or answer some questions. I'm not asking the questions. You are. All right. What are your thoughts on... Oh, wait. Is that the first one? Okay. I think that's the first one. So, let's see. We got... JF. What are your thoughts on the limiting and of taking components out to S3? How do you think we can? Oh, yeah. I did hear about that. So, like, I guess... What is it, like size 3 and below, or is it size 2 and below? I think it's size 2 and below can be swapped out, and then size 3 maybe has to go to a shipyard or something. I kind of like it. I think it does become a little unwieldy if you're taking these gigantic parts out of ships and then replacing them with just a tractor beam. But I think it's too early for it. I think... And this is my issue with engineering in general, is that I want engineering to come, but I just think we're missing other things. So I feel like engineering's a little too early. Like, we don't have solid repair gameplay yet. So why do we have engineering? I mean, if engineering is that first level of it, then okay, I understand. And maybe that is what it is, because I know we're getting the repairing things on outposts and stuff like that. So maybe that's what engineering is going to be. I know, you know, you change out relays and stuff like that and worry about energy levels, but I feel like I would want to know more about, like, repair materials, and, like, I don't want to just shoot a gun. I don't want to shoot a gun at, like, something and just have it automatically repair. So it says, please use a keyframe frequency of 4 seconds or less. Currently, keyframes are not being sent often enough, which can cause buffering. I don't know what that means. because I don't see a keyframe frequency level on here. So I don't know what that means. But that's an error I just got on YouTube. Anyway, continuing with your question, I don't mind that you can't move them. I just wish it came later. Like that particular part came later, and they just let us do whatever we need to now until repair gameplay was online. And then you had another question. What are your thoughts on only being able to take out... Oh, wait, that's the same question. How do you think overdriving these components, especially with Endeavor... So overclocking, I think, is what you're talking about. That's going to be cool. I think it's just going to add... I think it's going to be, like, based on skill level, right? So, like, if you're decent at it, you add 10% better capability. If you're good at it, you add 20%. And then if you're excellent at it, you add like 35% better capability to whatever you're overclocking. I think that's kind of the way it's going to work. But it's going to be complicated, and I think it's going to require better parts to do better overclocking. And I think it's going to require better blueprints to do better overclocking, and so on and so forth. But I can't wait to get into that stuff. I have 3 Endeavors, so it's going to be an interesting time. And they're all going to be kitted out differently. Let's see. Loom says this hour is not too late around here. That is why I switched the times around. So Monday is at 5 p.m. Eastern time, and then the Wednesday one will be at 12 p.m. Eastern time. So that way, and then the Saturday one will be at 7:30. So that way, regardless of which time you're at, you should be able to catch at least one of them. Did I hear about the Corsair nerf taking 2 guns from the pilot? I did not hear about that. I don't know how much I care about it though. The Corsair it has a lot of front firing power even without that, because it would still have 4 size 5s shooting forward. I don't know. That would just be a weird choice for CIG. Why would they do that? Because we've had it already, so it just makes it wouldn't make sense. Yeah, it would be weird for CIG to do that. I've never seen them do anything like that. Have they done that before? Have they taken gun control away from someone or from the pilot after the pilot has already had it for years? I've never seen that, so I'm not sure I 100% believe it. I'll believe it when it happens. But if it did happen, I wouldn't be too worried about it, because I think the Corsair, as long as they're doing it for balancing reasons. If they're gonna take that away, then they need to make it more maneuverable, right? So like, if you're gonna make it to where being in front of the Corsair is easier, like it's easier to be in front of the Corsair, then I'm okay with them taking the 2 guns away. But if it's going to be the same slow turning Corsair, then no, I would have a problem with that. I don't know if I would quit SC over it though, because they can just as much as they can balance it down, they can balance it back up. So, let's see. Still fairly new to the channel. Is there a story behind the name Billionaire Ninjas? Oh, thanks for asking. So who asked that? Let's see. Atomic Wrath asked that. So, obviously, I think I said earlier, I have a love for the ninjas, like in general. But actually, I had this name Finale Ninja, and I've used that on all my gaming stuff, right? And that came from when I'm old enough to have played the Shinobi games and stuff like that on Sega Genesis when I was a kid. And when I played those games, I used to always think I would get to like the boss at the end, the Finale Ninja, and I would always be like, oh, why couldn't I play the game as him? He's so much cooler. He has like way better weapons and stuff. Like, why would you make me play the game as this guy and not that guy? That guy is awesome. And it made me frustrated, because I was like, I feel like video game developers back then were not aware of like, I need to have the coolest character. I want to have the coolest character in the game and play with the coolest character. And so anyway, I always wanted to play as the Finale Ninja, so that became like my gamer name. And then from there, I realized that people kept calling it Final Ninja, which still works, but that wasn't the name. And I had all this stuff that was branded around Finale Ninja. And so I was like, well, what is the other thing that I would want to be called? And I was like, Billionaire sounds good. I wouldn't mind people having to call me a billionaire, whether I have the money or not. Like, you have to call me billionaire. I like it. You got to call me a billionaire, and I don't have to get the money. It's not. I wouldn't say it's a win-win, because I would rather have the money, but it sounds cool. But no, it didn't really happen like that. I really wanted a unique theme for the channel, and I wanted like a unique logo and everything. So I started drawing things, and I was like, oh, like what if there was like just this ninja with a gold chain on, and yeah, that's what started it. And I just was like, what are some things that represent like money or something like that? It's not like this obsession with money in real life so much as it is in the game. I found out that money is you're gonna have two things that drive the game. For Star Citizen, you're gonna have your reputation and the amount of money you have, right? Money gains access, money gains access to things, and reputation gains access to more money, right? And and other things, right? Get you in rooms that you can't get into, right? So I was like, well, I would love for my goal in the game to become a billionaire. And so I just mixed billionaire with ninja, and Billionaire Ninjas was born. Let's see what else we got. Oh, do you think, oh, there's something there. Do you think Billionaire Ninjas would reveal their secrets? I may or may not spill the beans a few times if I hear things. I don't know a lot of developers, but I do know some developers. And I wouldn't say know them. They're more like acquaintances. And then I'll just leave it at that. What are your thoughts on upgrading my Arastra to an Orion? Do it. Do it. Eventually you're going to get the Arastra while we're waiting on the Orion anyway, and the Orion is the better value ship. Even at its current price, it's going to go up. That thing's going to be like $1,000 when it's all done. I'm all for the biggest ship, getting the biggest ship of the bunch, the biggest ship that can do the job, unless like you have some like deep attachment to it. Some non logical attachment, right? Like you think it's the best looking ship in the game, or it perfectly fits your org or something like that. If it's something, I guess that would be a logical reason, but like something that's specific to you, right? Like I say in all my ship reviews, if there's something specific to you that makes you want to keep a ship, then keep it. Or if there's something that makes you want to buy a ship that's specific to you, then buy it. But I think as far as value, I'm very much so in the info runners camp of like buy the biggest ship and then earn the smaller ship. But I have ships that break that rule. So like I have the Railin, right? I don't necessarily need a Railin. I could earn that in game, but that's one of those ships that I just love. I love the look of it. I love the design. I think I'm gonna want to live in that ship and use it as like my largest daily driver. Same thing. The 890 jump. I don't own an 890 jump. I own a 600i because I just like the 600i better. I like the look of it and everything better. So, but I don't know about that. I like that. But if I had the chance to buy like a LTI 890, I might pull the trigger, but I'm not 100% sure. But I still don't think I would replace my 600i, and that's what I'm saying. Like, so there's certain rules that are broken, like the Terrapin. I love the Terrapin. I'm gonna own the Terrapin, like regardless of what anybody says. I love that little ship. So it is what it is. So I have these rules, but I have broken these rules. I think they're more of my North Star that I follow, not necessarily like I take every step that way. Let's see. Oh, there's a lot in here. Yes, slow down on new ships. Release the Kraken. Do I think SitCon will have any CCU opportunities? Absolutely. I think there will be at least 3 CCUs that come out of CitizenCon, because I think they're going to release at least 3 ships at CitizenCon. So there should be at least 3 war bonds there. If so, what would you guess? Which ship? Oh, that would be the newer ships. I think you're gonna just get war bonds for the newer ships, unless if they release a variant of an already existing ship. I think you would also get a CCU for that, for all of those ships that they release with. Maybe not all of them, but maybe 1 or 2. You might get an extra one. What do we got? What do you think about a modular ship base, or even getting a stripped ship chassis to be able to add what you want? I think we will get that in one way or another, right? But I don't think it'll be that open. I think it'll be like you have a small base ship and it's so modular that you can make it into like 5 different types of ship, but there's 12 different versions of ship that exist. So like, yes, this ship can turn into a bunch of things, but it can't turn into everything. It can only turn into 5. If you wanted to turn into the other 5, you got to buy this other base. And I think that's how they would limit it. But I think that's, now talk about things that are 10 years away. That's 10 years away. Let's see. And that came from Sketching Goblin. Let's see. Oh wait, so that Corsair thing is actually happening? Cause if that is happening, I gotta wait till I see it in game and see if they change the maneuverability. Because if they change the maneuverability for the better, I'm okay with it. But if they keep the maneuverability the same, then I would have a problem with it. Let's see. What are your thoughts about the recent info data mine from the Misc Fortune? And I feel like it might be straight to flyable the way it's sounding. I have heard things about that. I don't really want to comment on it. I can tell you that whatever it is, it could be a troll. Just like, I don't know what it was. What was that thing called? The cleaning thing that everybody, the Raptor. Everybody thought that was gonna be like this amazing ship, and then it just turned out to be like a cleaning thing. So like this is part of the reason why, now that I know that they do that, I'm like, I'm not gonna look into data mining seriously anymore. I just think that, especially because the name is the Misc Fortune, Misfortune, Misc Fortune. That's a little on the nose, but we'll see. We'll see if that's what happens. Let's see. I want to see a review video on the Galaxy. I'm going in alphabetical order, so you won't see that until I get to RSI. So I think RSI is next after Origin, though. I'm not 100% sure. I'm going in alphabetical of manufacturer name. But I'm currently on Origin. But I could say real quick, it has a construction module, it has a hospital module, has a cargo module, and it has a refinery module. So that's pretty much what it has. I don't think it'll be the best at any of those 4 things, but I do think it will be... I think it'll deliver the level at which the Galaxy sits, which is the large level. So I think it'll deliver the large capability of each one of those 4 things. It does? Okay, so it is just a nerf? Okay. I'll have to check that out. I can't get too deep into it until I check it out myself and see what they're talking about. I did talk about the Corsair nerf a little bit, but I'm not gonna get too deep into it because I gotta actually see it with my own eyes, and I got more questions to get to. If I have time at the end, I'll get to it. But we're 41 minutes in, and I haven't answered all the questions yet. So let me go back to these questions on here, and let's get back to the member questions. I think Palin Tan had some, or no, not Palin Tan. Let's see, who else was it? Paragon Fang Zen had some questions. So, what is a feature you are super excited for that you know or fear is a long way out from development? Science. Science gameplay is probably, we're probably talking 3 years before we get anything remotely related to science. So I'm thinking science. Science is probably one of the final features. I think we might get a little bit of it because I think at some point we'll get like farming and stuff, and like, I don't know. It's weird because I do think we're getting base building soon, and you'll need components and blueprints and stuff for that. But like, I guess pure science is what I'm talking about. Like, if it's related to creating parts, creating weapons, creating ships, creating outposts, I wouldn't say that's pure science. I'd say that's more construction science. I guess I'm talking about more pure science, data, like data from computers, mixing things like a cauldron of like a witch cauldron, to come up with some new product, overclocking, things like that. I think that's what I'm talking about when I say science. But yes, science. My top solo pick for the Zoo CL versus C1 versus Cutlass Black versus Freelancer Max. CL versus C1 versus Black versus Max. It's not the Max. It's not the Black. Well, I guess it depends on what you want to do. I think out of these right now, I would say the C1 because of its solo ability, but I really need to compare that with the CL. So right now I have the C1 first, CL second, Cutlass Black third, Freelancer Max fourth. What is your top small group pick? Small group, I'd probably go with the Cutlass Black, just because of the turrets. How do you feel about including the 400i and Valkyrie in this lineup? 400i just got nerfed. The Valkyrie to me is always going to be one of the best, if not the single best multiplayer ship, outside of the A2. The A2 though is $750. So I don't know anybody who's paid $750 though for the A2. Everybody I know has at least got $50 off of that ship. So there you have it. And yeah, I think the Valkyrie is a great ship. I think it's one of my favorite multi-crew ships. I think the A2 is my favorite currently, and I think the A2 will get replaced with the Perseus. I think the Perseus is, when it's all said and done and balanced and all the ships are out, I think the Perseus is going to end up being one of the best multi-crew ships just because of its size. And I know I have this whole Polaris versus Perseus thing on my channel, but like, the Polaris will be the better ship, I think. But I think the Perseus will be the better multi-crew experience, just because of the amount of people you can get in the game and how quickly you'll be able to deploy it and so on and so forth. Let's see. What is your favorite manufacturer these days? These days or overall? I can't give you my favorite. I'll give you my top three. My top three right now are Drake, and that's mainly due to the fact that they have the Ironclad. They were dropping on the list, I think, until the Ironclad released, or well, was concepted. Let's see. RSI has been going up. They've been trending upward, but I don't know if that's just like recency bias because of all the RSI ship focus. And Aegis, I think Aegis was the winner of my like video when I did the best manufacturers. Here, I can play my own video on my own stream. Let's see what I chose. If you haven't seen that video, I talk in detail about why I like each ship manufacturers. It's literally like the whole thing. Let's see. I think I did it in 2 parts. Oh, I was doing a lot of top 5s. I like doing top 5s. I like putting making a decisive decision. That's part of the reason why I rate ships, is because I think a lot of times when you look at reviews, it's people like, what it depends on what you want to do and what you want to play. That is true. It's absolutely true that a lot of your choices with your ships matter based on what gameplay you're looking for. That is 100% true. But people still want an opinion. They still want you to pick. They want you to say, is it good or is it bad in your opinion? They want to know your opinion. Not they don't want to just hear you say, what is my opinion? Not every time, but you should get ships based on what you like, but that doesn't mean I can't give you an opinion on what I think, and then you can't use that information to make your own decision. All right, let me see if I could find this video. So it'll be part 2. Yep, it was Aegis. Aegis was my winner. I think, who got second place? Who was my honorable mention? I never really paid attention to Kruger Intergalactic because I was like, oh, Kruger was my my honorable mention, because I want Kruger to make more ships, because I think Kruger would end up being my favorite design as far as design, because I love the Archimedes. But I had Aegis first, Drake second, Misk third. Misk, I think, might end up getting replaced by Mirai. So I'm not going to say that Misk is going to stay. And I had Origin 4th, and then I had RSI 5th. But I think RSI is on the upward tick. Origins, I think, probably going to stay where it is, because they just haven't released anything recently that's crazy. And then the 400i is on the downward curve, but the 600i rework might be coming. Misk, like I said, it might be getting replaced with Mirai, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'll have to do another video after Citizen Con. I did mark this as 2024, so maybe I'll do it in January and it'll be 2025 version or something like that. But yeah, there was some more questions on here though. What do you cover? Why do you cover some variants separately and in other reviews cover all the variants together? It depends on the ship. Certain variants I think are worthy of their own video, and others aren't, because they're not varied enough. But I did initially intend to do all variants in one video. And that's kind of the idea of the way I was supposed to do it, is if a ship just has a variant, it doesn't get its own video. At least not in this first foray of ship reviews. But I probably won't do full ship reviews after I'm done with every ship, unless it's a new ship. I'll probably move to just giving updated scores on ships, like an updated review, like, hey, go watch that video. Here's some things that changed for this ship since that last video, and here's what my updated score is. And then from there, I'll do the use case videos. Those will be one ship per. So it'll be like, if I do the 300i, there'll be one video for the 300i. Which, if there's not that much information on it, it might be a short, like a YouTube short. And then if there is a lot of information, then it'll be like a full-fledged video. What are your views on master modes and the massive balance changes that came with them? I've talked about this before. I think I talked about this in the previous stream, so I won't go too deep into it. But master modes, to me, I don't mind it. I think when it's complete, it will be good. I think currently it has issues, and I think that CIG needs to listen to the people who fly the most about what changes are required for master modes, and the game that people want to see. I also think they need to listen to, you know, what people are finding fun, not necessarily just what the vision, the original vision is, right? Because sometimes you can have this vision and it sounds great until you put it on paper and until it's working. And then it's like, this actually doesn't work. Because one of the things that I know people want out of a space game is they want that 6 degrees of freedom. They want it to be, they don't want to do, you know, the same type of ship combat that you would do with airplanes, except now you're doing it in spaceships. They want to do it like, they want it to be similar to space combat, or at least in some ways similar to space combat. At least being able to do maneuvers that you can't do with a traditional plane or something like that. All right, so I think, wait, we got one more in here. Let's see. Nope, that's just a statement. All right, and then I think we can go back to the member one, or the non-member one, the subscriber one, and answer those questions there. Let's see what we got. This is back to Orlando Noble 6784. What are your thoughts on Pyro? I don't care about Pyro. I don't care about Pyro. I'm so tired of hearing about Pyro. I've been hearing about Pyro for 4 years since they announced Pyro. I don't care about Pyro anymore because it's not out. And even when it comes out, like, I know everybody's going to go there. I care about it so little that I won't even go there probably the first 2 weeks that it's out, because I'll just be like, I'll wait till the servers are better. Because this is the problem with announcing things too early that are not coming out soon, is because now I have Pyro fatigue and I don't care about what happens in Pyro. The only reason I want to go there is to see what the outposts are like and stuff like that. I just want to look around. I don't actually want to participate in Pyro anything. Because I've just been hearing so much about it. I am excited for using jump points though. So unfortunately, the only place I can go is Pyro. So I'm going to go through the jump point and then I'm going to turn around and I'm coming right back. They're going to be like, why'd you go? I just wanted to zoom, you know? I'm excited for what Pyro means for the game. But Pyro as a system, I am not excited for. I'm excited for the caves. I'm excited for the asteroid bases. I'm excited for gang stuff. Like, I'm excited for the gameplay, but not Pyro itself. It is just because they talked about it too long. What do I think will be talked about at CitizenCon? I have no idea. I know new ships, obviously, but I think we're going to hear some stuff about base building. I think they're going to at least talk about a ship that we think that they haven't worked on in a long time, but they have. They're going to be like, just to let you know, we have been working on this ship, and here's what we have. And then they're going to tell us it's not finished and it's not coming for another year. But they will do that. And I'm hoping that they at least show us one ship that's done that we've been waiting on for a long time. I hope that they've just been saving it for CitizenCon and they're like, oh, you thought we weren't working on the Banu Merchantman. Here it is, or something like that. I mean, it's not going to be the Banu Merchantman, so don't get your hopes up. But whatever ship it is, you know, like, for instance, the E1. Why are we waiting on the E1? I know the gameplay isn't there, but, like, just give us the ship with the seats on it and let us take all of our friends on a joyride. The Starliner. Why don't we have any information on the Starliner? Okay. And let me give you an example of why this whole, like, wait for the gameplay thing doesn't make sense. The Starfarer, right? Like, we have the Starfarer. It has the gameplay, and then they just turned it off. So, like, if we're waiting for the gameplay, then why did they turn off the gameplay for the Starfarer, which is a ship that's already in game? Just give us the ship, and we'll figure out a way to use it, whether it's just taking it around and shooting stuff with it, whatever. Just give us the ship. Let us figure out what we're going to do with it. Now, should that mean you prioritize a ship that doesn't have gameplay? No, you shouldn't prioritize it. But when a ship gets to a certain age, I think it should jump up a little bit on the priority scale. So for instance, let's say A ship where gameplay is imminent. The gameplay is coming out tomorrow. That ship should be number one priority, right? But below that should be a ship with gameplay that's coming out next year, right? And then right below that should be ships that have been concepted for more than 5 years, or for more than let's say 7 years. Ships that have been concepted for more than 7 years, right? And then those ships should have that priority, right? And somebody should constantly be working on these older ships. And yeah. Anyway, I'll go down a rabbit hole if I keep talking about that stuff. What else will be talked at CitizenCon? We'll get a new cool like vertical slice video. I think Squadron 42 is going to be the main topic of CitizenCon because I do think they're going to do like a release date thing. And I think it'll be the release date of the beta, not necessarily the release date of Squadron 42. And I think we'll be playing the beta by next year, maybe mid next year is what I would guess, because I think they're late, so it'll probably be later, like July, going into August, that we'll get that type of stuff. So that answered your next question, which is Squadron 42 next year. All right, so that's all the questions in the posts. So let's see how far behind I am in the chat. Let me see. Let's see. I'm making sure I'm not missing anything on Twitch. Let's see. Oh, is that do I get my first scam thing? Somebody's on Twitch doing the scam thing. You're not real until you I don't even know how to delete it. How do you delete that? Okay, they got reported. Yeah. I don't have I probably should pull up the actual app. All right. Let's see. Suit lockers at suit lockers? Oh yes, I think we'll get suit lockers in 4.0. I don't there's certain stuff they haven't put on the list yet, but I do think they want people, in order to get Squadron 42 working, they need basic stuff like that to happen. Like, we need to be able to physically see our suit in a locker, grab our suit, put it on, put our helmet on. Like, that's all realism stuff that I think will be showcased in CitizenCon. So yes, I do think we're going to see that. Let's go back over here. So the misfortune seems like a real thing despite the name. I mean, I hope it is. I love new ships. You know me. But I'm at the point of I believe it when I see it now with CIG. So data mine, they can have pictures, like with the Saber Peregrine, right? Like, I saw the pictures and everything, and I was like, nope. It wasn't until somebody was able to like stop the little clip where they showed, like, it was flying past the screen and they stopped it and then you could see the shape of the ship. That's when I was like, okay, because that's put out by CIG. So that's when I believed it. But I'm a late stage believer when it comes to CIG now. Let's see. A lot of talk about the Corsair. I have to look that up. I've already hit my hour, but if that's the last thing, let's see. How How useful or necessary do you think mining? I'm assuming that's mine ships like the Nautilus will be in the future. That came from Snowman. The last question was from. Oh, that wasn't a question. That was just me talking about it. Okay, the Nautilus. I don't think CIG will make a ship that's useless. I know there's a lot of people that talk about like the Nautilus and like how is that going to be useful in space when people can just go around and things like that. I don't think CIG will make a ship useless. I think it might not be as useful as people want it to be, but it won't be useless. The first thing is it can pick up mines, right? Now, remember, NPCs will be able to drop mines too. It won't just be players. So the fact that it can pick up mines is already a huge use case for it by itself. The fact that it has that size 7 weapon on the front also means it's going to be decent. And it's going to have this special armor so that it doesn't blow up when it's collecting mines and stuff. So I think it's going to be a very defensive ship. But as far as placing the mines, I think the shooting mines will probably be a less useful than the explosive mines. But I think they'll adjust the range and radius of how closely they can get to you and how quickly they explode and the size. I think they'll adjust all of that to make sure that they're useful, right? So like right now, I think it's size 1 explosives and size 2 guns or something like that. Which, you know, obviously if those run into, you know, a capital ship, they're not going to do anything. So I think it'll be a range. Like you'll be able to buy larger ones, but maybe you can store less of them. So like if you get size 10 mines, right? Maybe the size 10 mine, you can only carry 3 of those and then that's it, you know, and you just got to get lucky, right? And then maybe size 5 mines, you can carry 8 and then, you know, it just scales from there the same way missiles do. So I think it'll be useful. If you name your Polaris the Torpedo Dorito, if you're the first to do it, go for it. I think you'll have a hard time doing it, though. Yeah, I think you'll have a hard time doing that. Let's see. Okay. Do you think we will be what is that, glid suit or something like that for low orbit drop without landing? Oh, like the Atlas or ATLS specifically. I don't know if we'll get orbital drop suits yet, because I don't think there's that gameplay. I don't think that gameplay is in yet. But I do foresee that becoming a thing. I don't think that'll be a thing at this CitizenCon, maybe 2 or 3 years from now. But I do think we're going to see some new suits. I think we're definitely going to see some new suits at CitizenCon. I think we're at least going to see one that's combat. I don't know if they'll all be combat, but I think one of them will be a combat mech suit. And I can't wait to see that. That's going to be cool. A weird thing that I'm actually looking forward to and hoping that they say something about? The Tumbril Ranger. Like, I feel like people would love to just drive those around. And it would be so cool to be able to put those in footage. Just showing the motorcycles going around. I just think that would be a cool thing for them to just, like, pop out. You know, have people work on those now, you know, that are new to developing in Star Citizen. So, all right, let's see what else we got over here. I think that's all the questions. So let me check out this. If you have questions, make sure you drop them in the chat and just put question in front of it, because we're at the end of the stream here. But I'm going to check out this Corsair stuff and see what I can find. So I've been in the deep dark hole doing ship reviews. That's why I'm not up on the news, and that's also why I haven't been doing Star Citizen nightlies, because I need to finish these ship reviews before CitizenCon. Because by darn it, I said I'd do it before CitizenCon, and I'm gonna do it. Also, chat, let me know if you think the ATLS qualifies as a ship, because you can upgrade from it. You can't upgrade to it. but you can upgrade from it. Do you think it qualifies as a ship? I don't think it does. But it is a thing that you get inside of that moves without you doing the work. that could be a bike though. But you got to do the work on the bike, so no, that can't be a bike. I don't know, but it's a powered suit. I don't know. I don't think it counts as a suit. I don't think it counts as a suit, or I don't think it counts as a ship. But you guys let me know what you guys think. With these Corsair nerfs, what will everyone's next best ship be to replace with it? Constellation. I gotta find the actual Corsair nerf thing. Where is this coming from? Does somebody have the link to this? Well, I guess you wouldn't be able to drop it in there, but yeah, I don't see anything about this course. I see people talking about it generally. Let me see. You said in Spectrum? Let me check Spectrum. I'm trying to find this information on the Corsair. Atlas is gear with insurance. I like that. It does not fly. It can't fly. It can't float. So does it count as a vehicle then? It's definitely closer to a vehicle than it is to a ship. So would we say that the Atlas qualifies as a vehicle because you can upgrade it to a ship and upgrade it to vehicles? Or does it just create a new category? Let's see. I'm trying to find this Spectrum stuff. I don't see it. Is this something that was like talked about by a dev? Or is this something that's just like a rumor? Let's see. Comlinks. All right. It's not in the patch notes, obviously. It's not going to be in, let's see, This Week in Star Citizen, which should be light work. We'll get a comm link, newsletter tomorrow, roadmap update, roundup. Day of the Vara. I forgot that starts on the 3rd. There'll definitely be a sale for Day of the Vara. I got to pick up some of those helmets and stuff. All right, so we got an info drop for CitizenCon. We got the Show Us Your Plunder contest. Rentals are expensive. Yeah. So I don't see anything about the Spectrum thing, so so somebody said it was a bug and then they said it's not a bug. Let me see. Oh, it's coming from Evo patch rumors. Okay. Is anybody here Evo? I'm not Evo. Oh, my favorite Ranger variation? Let me see. I haven't looked at the Ranger in a while. I can't even remember what the letters stood for. What would I use the Ranger, actually use it for? I'm probably not going to fight with it because the X1 has a shield. So that's probably the one that I'm going to fight with. So whatever the combat variant, it's probably not going to be that one. Which is, I think that's the TR. But that depends. Will they get a shield or not? The RC, it'd probably be the one racing thing that I would get. So yeah, I'd probably say it's gonna be the RC. But I have to see what the difference in the speeds are, because also putting cargo on one of these would be awesome. But I also think it would drastically change the look of it, and I like how like sleek they are. So I'll definitely own all three in game, but I'd say my favorite right now is probably I'll go with the CV because I prefer utility to racing stuff. But if I had to only buy one, I'd probably buy the racing one just to get from point A to point B and do it in a cool way. But yeah, I don't see this stuff on the Corsair, but I talked about it a little bit, but I'll just say this. If it's true and it's not coming with any maneuverability updates for the Corsair, then that is a very sad piece of information. I just feel like the Corsair's claim to fame is those weapons, and they've already balanced it by making it slow to turn. So as long as you don't get in front of a Corsair, you don't have a problem, which is, I think, great for that ship. It's a larger ship. It shouldn't do that. But at the same time, it was billed as an exploration ship. It was not billed as this super gunship that it ended up being. So I think it would have made more sense to just nerf the guns, like make them go from size 5 to size 4s if you were really that worried about it, than to just completely take the ability away from the pilot. But at the same time, it is supposed to be a multi-crew ship. This was never supposed to be a solo ship. So they are making it more multi-crew. I don't like the way they're doing it either, if that's the way they're doing it. I don't like that. I would prefer that they have just changed the size 5s to size 4s and let the pilot shoot them. Or, you know, if you're going to take something away from the pilot, you have to give the pilot something, I think. So, you know, and I think what you would have been able to give the pilot is more maneuverability. Give it better straight line speed. Give it something. Better pitch, better yaw, whatever. Just give it something. Give the pilot something when you take something away. That's just the way I see it. So, I'm just gonna answer questions from the chat. We're already like 15 minutes past time, but I'll just answer what's ever in the chat now, and then we'll end this thing, and you guys can come ask more questions on Wednesday. All right, let's see. Okay, so Pappy's Evo. Let's see. So what are you saying, Pappy? Do you see this? Do you see the Corsair change? Let's see. Answer this question here. What to think of the idea that everyone stops buying ships with real money, thereby motivating CIG to make progress faster instead of providing them with unlimited funds for 10 more years? I hear this a lot, actually. That question came from Neon Blowfish. That doesn't work as a tactic, and I'll tell you why, right? So in my real life, outside of Star Citizen, I have tried that tactic in trying to get government to do things for political reasons, right? It doesn't work because people have issues with solidarity. And in order for things like that to work, you have to have solidarity. We can't even agree on which ship should win Ship Showdown. So you're not going to get everybody to stop spending money on Star Citizen. It's just not going to happen. What you could do is speak with your wallet and convince as many people as possible to speak with their wallet. But in order to do that, you're going to need a marketing campaign, like an anti-CIG marketing campaign, where you're literally saying, stop buying ships. You're going to have to pay for that. You're going to have to get that heard by as many people as possible, which means all like ads that play when my videos play, some of those ads should be like, stop spending money at CIG, right? And the more people that hear it, the higher chance you have of it happening. But even still, best case scenario, even if you put $1 million into this, you would get 50% of people to stop purchasing ships. Because some people are just anathema. Like, some people don't want to do what everybody else is doing. So they will literally purchase ships just to spite you. So I don't think that's ever going to happen. I don't think we can stop purchasing ships. It's the same thing in the greater gaming community, where we keep telling people we don't like live service games, and then they keep making live service games, right? But we do have some sparkles of light in that, right? A few live service games have started to fail, and we're starting to see that game companies are starting to listen a little bit. But Star Citizen is in a different category because there's so many microtransactions that are capable, whether it's just people buying a war bond CCU or buying a new ship. There's so many ways that they can get money out of people, right? And then how are you going to convince the new people joining the game to also join that? So I just don't think it's a valid way forward. I think the best way forward is people have to be patient. It's just the way it is. You're not going to control CIG through the wallet because they already have too much money. It's like trying to get a billionaire to do something without like being able to change the fact that they're already a billionaire. You would have to take money away from CIG that they already have in order to force them to do something. And the amount of money it would take to force CIG to do something would already defeat the purpose of, like, everybody saving their money. So I just don't think it's a valid way forward. CIG is building their own game. As much as we talk about it, as much as we have opinions about it, it's their game. It's Chris Roberts' game. He can do whatever he wants with it. And that's what he's doing. And until we get more information on what the final product is going to be, it's hard for me to get extremely upset about things to the point where I'm like, I'm not going to spend any more money, right? Now, I'm 10K into the game. Actually, I might be, I don't know. I'm either 10 or 11K into the game. And I don't have any intentions of spending more money, but I will adjust my fleet as necessary, right? Like, I had no intention of buying an Ironclad because I didn't know the Ironclad existed. But my Liberator became an Ironclad, you know? And I might end up getting the Liberator back because of something else, right? So that's where I end up spending money. But that is the sink, right? That is the catch. That's one of the greatest things about this game, is that you can spend $20 and drastically change your experience. And I just don't think you're going to get people to stop doing that. Let's see. How did I get my Phoenix background? I don't remember. I was downloading cool pictures from Star Citizen, and this just happened to be one of them. But I got it off the internet somewhere. I don't remember exactly where, but I got it off the internet. Let's see. It was not an in-game screenshot. Were you aware the Corsair shares a name with the category of pirates because it's a pirate ship? The Barbary Corsairs. I was not aware of that. I see, Pappy, you're upset about the 400i being nerfed. I am too, and I'm about to. That's actually, I think, the next ship I'm going to review after the 300i. Which my 300i video should be coming out sometime tonight. I have to edit it after this. That's why I have to hop off of here soon. My 300i video should come out soon. If you're not subscribed, go subscribe. And also, if you haven't watched my most recent reviews, go and check those out. Those are, I'm kind of changing the format a little bit, just a little bit. But the 400i might get a speed boost, and if it gets a speed boost, I'd be okay with some of the nerfs. But it needs a speed and maneuverability boost. Let's see. You haven't flown the Corsair yet, Pappy? All right. If a MISC year has already begun with new ships arriving surprising soon, do you think the Audi will be released before we get the 600i rework? Ooh, good question. I think a lot of the stuff that they're doing with the Polaris will be transferable to the Odyssey. So I do think we'll see it soonish, but soonish for Star Citizen could be 2 years. So, But do I think I'll see it before the 600i rework? I don't think they're working on Origin ships right now. And I do think they're working on Mist ships. So it's very possible. I'd say it's more likely than unlikely. But the Odyssey also is not a ship that we need right now. So would I like a picture of the captain's office from the Carrack? Go ahead, throw it in the Discord. I don't know if I'll use it for my background because this is my baby right here. The winner of the giveaway will be chosen on the 1st or the 2nd, depending on whether I have time to do it on the 1st. So that should be tomorrow. I might start actually doing the live stream and revealing it on the live stream. Because then you like know that it's live because I'm doing it live. Whereas like if it's, you know, whatever, you know. I think that's everything. I think that's all the questions. Yeah, I think that's all the questions. All right. If you got questions, I'll answer. I'll answer the questions I get in the next 15 seconds, and then I will pop off. So, thanks everybody who's been on here. Let's see. If you have questions that I didn't answer, feel free to ask them in the Discord, and then I will answer them whenever I can. Let's see. Leak ships straight to flyable. At least one of them will be, probably. But yeah, all right. That's it. I did 23 extra minutes of streaming, so yay me. But yeah, that's it. I gotta get this 300i video out, and you know, spend time. I hear my family is nice. I probably should spend time with them at some point in my life. So everybody who watched the chat or watched the stream, thank you. I'm glad that we fixed some of the issues. We're still gonna work on that delay. I don't know if that's something that's possible to fix, but we'll keep working on it. And on Twitch, I am not an affiliate yet, so I might have to go over there and like fix all my links and stuff. I don't have all that cool stuff that pops up on screen when people are streaming. I gotta figure out what all that is. So anyway, yeah, thanks everybody. I appreciate you coming to the stream. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.